Thank you, Al. Al Humphreys is #1 inspirer in the world, he is. And I'm so proud to be here this evening. Well, I put this picture of the boat because this year is the 40th anniversary of the time my son was born on board our boat in the Mediterranean, delivered by the emergency childbirth pages of Reed's Nautical Almanac. And I'm going off to run the Rome Marathon in a couple of days to celebrate it. But it all led to running around the world, because all sea journeys are riven, aren't they, with dreams of landfall and places. And the sea journey across the Atlantic had taken 70 days, and I'd run out of food. This is on the River Yukon while running around the world. And here are some of my friends. One of them stuck his head in the tent, and when he yawned, his teeth were 6 inches long, and I thought he was thinking, a cave with food, how lovely, how delicious. But wolves have a real good reputation for not eating people, and the real reason I was doing this journey was in honour of my husband Clive, who he wanted to be a pirate when he was young. And he was a man, you'd stop to talk to him for 2 minutes and still be talking 2 hours later. And we had all sorts of dreams together. But unfortunately, he got prostate cancer and died. And I was so sad. It was one of those things when it's like a crossroads. You can't just sit still. You have to reach out or curl up in a ball. And I decided to run around the world following the world's greatest landmass. I thought if I did something as silly as this, I would perhaps attract a bit of attention. And I couldn't get any sponsors. I was too sad to talk to strangers. But they're my A-team. My son and myself there, daughter, husband, children, a little girl not born then. Everybody helped me. And the whole thing was just done on a little bit of rent from my house savings, more or less selling my body and soul. And it took a year to organize. And here am I, eventually on my 57th birthday, looking at the first footstep engraved by my brother, the magic first step. I never knew what would happen. This is home. And when you go up during the interval to the bar, you'll see the same tent sitting up there with a bit of spaghetti outside it, just for luck. I had many adventures in this tent, notably when it got crashed into in the night by something very large and alive and struggling frantically, and I was dragged through the forest, and it turned out to be Eric, the wild boar. I think after running around the world, I never think going out for coffee. I'll never think of going out for a coffee in the same light again. In Russia, as I'm sure Al knows, often the cafes are 200 kilometers apart at least. One of the reasons I'm doing these talks, and hopefully we'll be doing more of them, is I want to get some seeds and farming equipment and stuff for the people in East Siberia, because nobody ever helps them. Nobody really knows. Their lives are unspeakably hard, and many of them were born, or their fathers were born, in Stalin's gulags. Eventually, I swapped my backpack and my trusted cart for the sled in Alaska, and this was... During Alaskan times, it was minus 62 Celsius. And I kept thinking that, my grandmother always used to say, Rosie, Rosie, there's my most beautiful foot, that touch of frostbite. I lost a little bit of that second toe, but it was okay, it was too long anyway. My grandmother always said, anyway, it's not good looks or natural gifts that really count. Lucky for you, my girl. It's wanting to do things. And this sort of had to last through my life, and I owe her a lot. She said there are no rewards for giving up, and often I would be actually counting 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, stop. I was very hard because it was self-supported, and I had to pull everything or carry everything, and had various adventures. But when you do meet people, these are some children from one of the Eskimo villages in Alaska, and it's magic. I think everybody here tonight, you must all be here because you love adventures, You never take anything for granted again, ever again. Not a human voice, nor light, nor food, nor warmth. Oh, here's a new hair washing technique. It's better than when I tried it in McDonald's in America and in England and got my head stuck between the soap, hot air and water. All that happened here was your hair would freeze in clumps and you'd look like an alien because the soap would never be got out before the hair froze. A very small mishap was when I got 2 stress fractures on the last 32 miles. After 4.5 years it took. Einstein said time's an illusion, but I'm not sure. But having crutches was great. It was like having 4 legs. And I made it at 1 mile an hour. It was so... I couldn't believe it when I was able to have the outline of my foot next to the first step. So much had happened between. I just couldn't believe it. As the first step and the last step. I'm very grateful. I've had thousands of letters from people, including cancer doctors, and I think it did help. I reckon if you do something as stupid as I did, when the press have nothing to write about, they just might, I hope they'd write about it, and it would, if it saved 1 life, it would be worth it. Oh, here's me doing the last mile of my 26 marathons in 26 days last year, and the kids kept saying, "Run faster." Oh! Reaching for your dreams, I suppose. I've decided to do 101 new challenges. I've decided it's boring being 22, so I'm going to go back to being 21 again. And this was great fun. And this is the last picture. I'd just like to say thank you, Night of Adventure, and all of you. I hope you achieve all your hopes and dreams and have a fantastic year.